Just break my heart, don't waste any more time.
Welcome back to East Coast DNA. I'm your host, Darcy Walsh. We have a guest here that I've known for a little bit of time, but haven't had a chance to feature on the show yet. So, welcome, Hannah Langille.
Thank you. Nice to have you.
So, we did probably feature some photos when Abby Mack had her release,
Yeah.
because I was there for that. And you and I knew each other through open mics up in the Halifax area.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it's a pint in the basement.
yeah, exactly. But you've been developing your own solo stuff the whole
Yeah.
time. And I've kind of followed a little bit of it from afar. I haven't had a chance to catch you in a solo performance yet, but I do know that you've been doing a few of those. Well, aside from
Yeah.
Abby's, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, now today you wanted to talk to me because you have some recordings that you're releasing as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I put out
let's dig into that.
yeah, I put out a new EP on July 25th. So that's my sophomore EP. It's called Lessons Learned, 6 tracks. So I put out my last track in 2023. So it's been a while since my last release. But I was really excited about this one. So it's been fun.
Yeah, the last release was probably was it that around the time we would have met, or was it later
Yeah, it
than that?
was
Yeah.
I think it was probably I mean, I might have put it out maybe a month after we met the first
Hmm.
time, in like maybe April of 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm curious now. I know that you're a keyboardist and that you
Hmm.
sing, but
Yeah.
going back, I don't really know too much about your origins. Like, where did you pick up the bug for creating music? Was it keyboards
Yeah.
first?
Well, I've been playing piano since I was like 4 years old, and singing just the same. My older sister is a singer-songwriter as well, so I always grew up watching her perform around the city as well and like hearing her music. So I always wanted to be a singer because of her. But I've always been on the stage as well. I've done theater since I was really, really little, and all through school, I did vocals and musical theater in high school. And I was a competitive dancer as well. So I've always been performing and always really enjoyed it. And I played the piano because my sister did, and then just kept writing music because she did as well. So it was kind of like I looked up to her, and then I just fell in love with it.
Now this is a little bit of a sidetrack. You mentioned the competitive dancing. Did you keep up
Hmm.
with any of that over the years?
I didn't. I stopped when I graduated high school. Of course, like tale as old as time, I had an injury and I couldn't keep going. I loved it. I danced for like 18 years. So really loved that. But yeah, couldn't keep dancing because of my knees.
Well, we'll have to hook you up with April Eileen at some point. She's been on this show before, and she has quite a few moves that she works into her set, despite the fact that she's playing keyboards and
Cool.
singing too. So
Nice.
I don't know if I have any of her live performances in my live shots on YouTube, but yeah, definitely if you get a chance to check her out, check
Yeah,
that sometime, and
definitely.
maybe you can find a way to incorporate some of that too. So. Now, as far as your recordings, are you supporting that with some upcoming tour dates, or are you doing just live shows here and there?
I don't have anything planned tour wise right now. I'm still planning out an actual like EP release show. I have a full-time job as all us musicians do. It's like
Mhm.
our music is our 5 to 9 after our 9 to 5. And I struggle to make my own time to play. But I always pick up little gigs here and there. And I'm lucky that some people invite me to play for them. And I'll do little like private things and open mics. But hopefully, I'm going to be able to plan an EP release show, and maybe that'll lead to a little tour. But I'm definitely very, very busy outside of my music, and I spend most of my time writing, and I really enjoy that over like planning out shows and traveling around. So I'm still writing all the time, recording new stuff all the time.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance for any of us. I have a
Hmm.
full-time job outside of all of this myself. So just where each individual person kind of finds their own balance, it really does come down to what parts you enjoy more than the others. But
Hmm.
as you know yourself, once you start diving into the arts world, being able to do as much yourself as possible is always helpful, especially starting
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Now, you have performed a few places live, so you have some
hmm
experience. Now, is that mostly in the Halifax region, or have you ventured outside?
I haven't played anywhere outside of the city. It's really just all been around here. Little gigs that I've been lucky to get, or I've done like private events that people have hired me for. And again, I was really into theater, so that's a lot of like the performing that took up a lot of my time when I was younger.
Mhm.
But yeah, I haven't ever left HRM, so that would be really fun if I ever got the chance to do that and travel around because I do love performing and it's something that took up a lot of my time before I had my 9 to 5. So I would love to get back to it.
Yeah, I do have a lot of artists and people that are working behind the scenes with like singer-songwriter style
hmm
performances and open mics that have been happening pretty much throughout the week leading up to weekend festivals. But I know that
hmm
come this fall, there's definitely a few of my viewers that are heavily involved in some of those events. So definitely recommend that they keep an eye out for you out there as
Yes,
well.
please.
And now the recording itself, did you record with somebody? Like, is there a studio that you went to, or did you do some of this kind of yourself at
It all
home?
happens right here.
Yeah,
I
okay.
record my vocals and my piano all myself. I do all my harms. I actually have one track on the new EP that my sister is on, and that's the first time I've had her feature on a track or anybody else on one of my tracks. So that was really fun. And it's kind of like a special little thing for me because I wanted to be a singer because of her. But yeah, I do all the recording here, and then I'm actually really lucky. I have a producer who's in Austin, and I send him all the stems, and then we like video call for hours and hours and work on that together.
Amazing. So
Yeah,
your career is not in music, like your full-time day job, like your
no.
9 to 5, you say. So the fact that you're able to do that is not unheard of. A lot of people can do a lot of different things these days, especially
Yeah.
I have a little tiny device here right beside my computer now that's recording stuff, and I wouldn't have even
hmm
known how to use that a couple years ago, nor
Yeah.
would it have existed a few years before that. But for yourself, I am wondering, like, where does that knowledge come from? Is it just that you taught yourself? Did you pick up things and tinker?
Yeah, I definitely taught myself over COVID, nothing better to do. So I just bought, everything I needed, and I was already working with my producer kind of just in passing at that time. He'd reached out to me and was telling me all the right things to get, and then just kind of left me to my own devices to figure it out and, figure out the best way to set my gain and use all my mics properly and got my piano all hooked up. And yeah, it's been a work in progress for sure. The production side of things still kind of like goes in one ear and out the other. He tries to get me to do more and more, but it's a lot. But I really do enjoy producing it and learning the little things. And I'm really lucky to be able to work with him. And he does like everything else, all the other instruments you hear on my tracks, all like the background synth, everything like that. He does that all. He's super talented, and I watch him do all that, and he gives me the little tips and tricks. But anything I do here myself, recording my tracks and exporting it, it's all been self-taught. So it's been a fun process.
Now, how did you end up with this connection that you had somebody in a different region to work with? Like you mentioned COVID. I know everything
hmm
started going online pretty hardcore
Yeah.
at that time, but yeah, how did that relationship form?
I have always been posting like little snippets of things I write and covers on my social media. I've been doing that since I was in like junior high. And he actually just found a cover that I posted on Instagram, and he DM'd me and he said that it was really awesome and he liked my sound and he would work with me if I was open to it. I thought it was a scam because you get a lot of little DMs like that. So
Yeah.
I ignored him for like a year. And then he messaged me again. He was like, "Hey, I still think you're super cool. Like, if you ever want to have a chat." So I was like, since he's trying again, maybe I'll look into it. And I searched his name and he was a legit person and he had lots of credits under his name. So I messaged him back, and it's kind of been since then. The first time we spoke about doing my first EP was in 2021, and been working with him ever since.
That's amazing. I mean, people know stories like Justin Bieber's origins and
hmm
stuff. Like we're similar, but as I know, once you have any type of persona that's online at all, you start getting just tons of those emails.
Yeah.
So you really have to be
You
careful
have to
when you're
filter
sorting through them.
through.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad to hear that there's a success story in there, that they're not all scams for sure. So now, as far as the release, you mentioned that
hmm
potential release party coming up in the future.
hmm
Where do people follow you online so they can keep up to date with that type of thing?
Anywhere. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I have a website. All my handles are HLangille underscore music. If you just look up Hannah Langille music on Google, you can find me everywhere. And I'm on all streaming platforms as well. And I keep any shows up to date on my website and my Instagram and Facebook as well.
Now, I do want to get into a little bit of your writing process as well,
hmm
because we talked a little bit about like the technical aspect of actually getting an album out there, but not really so much like lyrical content or any
hmm
concept behind the album. But I do want to take a quick moment to ask your sister that you mentioned, if since
hmm
I am Nova Scotia based myself, I'm curious if it's a name I know out there. Does she have
Yeah.
an artist name or?
It's just Natasha Peach.
Okay.
She hasn't played publicly in a while, but she's worked with quite a few people like years ago. She's worked with Ria May and Classified. She used to play a lot at the Company House when that was still a thing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so she's been around. She's got some stuff on YouTube. She's really awesome.
Definitely a few people watching this would be aware of her from some of those
Oh, for
names that you
sure.
referenced, yeah.
Yeah.
So now for yourself, the writing process, like I said,
hmm
I've interacted with you a few times. I did see the one performance and I remember the original release, but with this new one, I wonder like did you sit down like writing retreat style and say I'm going to write an EP, or is it just a collection of songs that you've generated over a period of time?
this one was a collection of songs. Since I've been working with my producer and he's been trying to teach me more things, I found that my writing style and my sound is starting to kind of change. And when I've been writing new stuff to learn the production side, I've noticed how much it did shift. And I had so many things left in the vault that were like my old sound. They were really raw and stripped back that I loved and I wanted to get out before I kind of started this new phase of a new sound. So I collected up a bunch of old songs that I really loved. Most of them I wrote, honestly, probably like 5 years ago.
Hmm.
The newest one I wrote maybe a year and a half ago. So it was kind of a collection, like I called it Lessons Learned because it's from another period of my life when I was writing differently. I was younger, and kind of like an amalgamation of all kinds of things that happened before COVID as well. Everybody's life changed through that. So this album is kind of a collection of old things and like an old phase of my life that I wanted to put out because I loved the song so much, but I wanted to get out there to kind of like end that sound so I can move into new stuff that I'm doing.
Now you've kind of whetted my appetite for that. I always like to look at what's next when I'm interviewing an
hmm
artist. So you've already given some hints. Your producer's kind of been pushing you into a little bit more of some of the production end, maybe.
hmm
And you have a few different little experimentations outside of your comfort zone that
Yeah.
you seem confident that you're successful in this too. So is there anything that you can share that you have planned for the future, or is it wait and
Um,
see?
I mean, wait and see. I know there's one that's like this close to being done, and I'm really excited to release it once like the lessons learned hype has kind of died down for myself. I'm done with all that promo. Just kind of put it out as like a this is the new me that I'm going for.
Hmm.
Just like really fun, more like upbeat synth bass songs that move a little more. They're still like really heavy on the storytelling lyricism, which I think is like so big about all my music. I'm really big on the storytelling and I like my songs to be really visual, but instead of just like a really stripped piano guitar, which my first EP was really heavy on, it's a lot more like beats and movement and different sounds and feelings that change throughout the whole thing. So that'll be fun to kind of put out, and anybody who likes my music now see how they feel about that because it's an exciting new thing to move into, and it's brand new stuff that I'm writing as well. Whereas a lot of my music that I put out over the last few years has been older stuff that has been sitting around until I got the tools to record and release that. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Now, in the EP itself, as you mentioned, where some of the songs were written over different periods of time, when
Hmm.
you sat down to actually record them, despite the fact that they're songs that may be older, I'm kind of using quotations there.
Yeah.
Uh, if you're just recording them now, like you're kind of revisiting them. So
Hmm.
I'm wondering, like in that process, are you kind of revisiting the lyrics a little bit as well, where there's personal aspects
Hmm.
to some of the lyrics? Was there any revisions? Like, did you have to refine any of it? Or as a musician where you've grown, did you decide like going into the recording, it's like, you know what, I this is how I performed it in the past, but for the recording, I want it to sound a little different.
Yeah, there was actually one song in particular called Forget You on the EP that I wanted to put on my first EP. Every time I played it, I felt like it was kind of childish, and the lyrics kind of threw me aside because it is a little bit more upbeat than my usual stuff, and it felt too like little kid.
Hmm.
But then I kept replaying it over the years, and everybody that I played it for would always love it, and they'd ask me to play it at shows. So obviously, there's something special about it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down. I think it's really special for this EP, but how can I make it feel a little bit more grown up so I don't feel kind of awkward playing it for people? So that was one that definitely was like older that I felt I needed a revision on, but the bones of it were really special. So I rewrote the bridge a little bit just to make it a little more grown up and less like rhymey and continue out more of a story. So that was one in particular, and a couple little things like I've just grown in my piano playing as well in my composition. So instead of just basic chords, when I went to record it, I was doing a lot of little extra things to improve on the melodies that I didn't have when I wrote it when I was like 17, 18.
Hmm.
So those little things merge, but a lot of it was like really special. And the point of the EP was those old lessons that I've learned transitioning into this new phase of my life. So I was keeping the bones of all the songs like really pure and there themselves.
Now, musical taste is something that does change over time, not just in the
Hmm.
creation aspect, but in what you're digesting. And I mean,
Hmm.
just as a society, we do that too, like what we're pushing out there into the public. So things that you pick up when you're walking through a shopping mall or getting
Yeah.
groceries, like you're hearing different music in the background that you don't really have control over and subconsciously you pick up. So
Hmm.
do you know of, like, are you aware yourself of any external influences as far as your music, where you started at a young age and you had some formal training, and a
Hmm.
lot of the different aspects of performance that you mentioned all require similar discipline that the formal training in music requires.
Yeah.
So I know that not everyone is able to then digest external influences to feed their art outside of that because they're
Hmm.
so hyper focused on these are certain things you're supposed to do, and then your own personal taste put in there doesn't
Yeah.
always leave a lot of room. But
Hmm.
is there other artists out there that you kind of go to for inspiration?
Yeah. Um, I always have been like compared to, I guess in my sound, like Adele ballads. That was a big thing when I was putting out my first EP, is a lot of them are ballads and they're big and emotional and obviously very piano focused as well.
Hmm.
And I felt like I wanted to kind of break out of that. Like not everything had to be a ballad. I wanted to have fun too. And I kind of changed up the composition when producing some of the songs on this new album to feel a little more like myself and the things I listen to. Like I listen to a lot of country, but I don't write country music.
Hmm.
But I love like a good acoustic guitar and something like that. So I was throwing in those little aspects. Like my song Genuine, it has a bit of a different feel. Same as the single I put out, Our Little Secret. I wanted it to be a little more folk, less singer-songwriter pop. So I like to put in those little influences. And then kind of the style I feel like I'm moving into is still, again, like the emotional storytelling lyricism, but more of that Billie Eilish feel. Like it can be a dance song if you wanted it to be. So that's kind of where I'm transitioning and trying to slowly feed in. There's a lot of different styles on the new EP. Some things are still really stripped back, and then there's a lot of highly produced tracks with like drums and 808s and synths and lots of things under it so I can kind of do the transition and all of my different influences will come in through that. Like I love Billie Eilish, I love Olivia Rodrigo, and I still love Adele and the influence that came in with her. And that's all I played growing up. And I love playing her big ballads, and that inspired a lot of my songs. But I definitely want to make some transitions into different styles.
Now, I do kind of want to ask about collaborations, like you mentioned working with a producer, but as
Hmm.
far as playing with other artists on stage or in the studio, like have you considered doing collaborations in that aspect? And then I kind of want to
Yeah.
add a little of the extra different element to that because the other route I would take that is from the songwriting aspect where you do
Hmm.
seem to have an appetite to work in a lot of these different elements that you're not necessarily focused on performing yourself. Have you
Hmm.
considered songwriting for other artists?
Yeah, I actually have done that. I've collaborated with a couple people, like helping them finish their songs. I've written like hooks for different people, like a local rapper. And I write a lot with my sister as well. She still writes, like, she has just decades of music that she could release, and we write a lot together. She helps me. I love doing that. I've always really enjoyed just writing and like poetry as well. So I'm really big on writing, and I love working with people when they ask me to. And it's really special, I think, to share like how personal a song is and if somebody's willing to let you in on that. So there is a little something coming with somebody else that you might hear sometime soon, someone local that you know really well. So yeah, I do work with other people and I love that. And I also love playing with other artists. Like I've done like the Monty's jams, so fun when you get to play with people and improv and do fun things. I've played music for a really long time, so getting to work with other talented people is super fun.
I definitely have heard of the Monty's Jam. It's
Hmm.
almost like a little legend that I hear about because it's
Yeah.
always in that like I used to go here and that's how I met this person, or
Yeah.
yeah, I got my start by going here. Like it seems like a
Hmm.
really good networking opportunity, but
It
it
is. Oh
also,
yeah.
yeah, it does definitely seems to be birthing a lot of people that are inspired to go out there and
Hmm.
release stuff on their own.
Yeah.
So I definitely I'll have to make a point to get to one at some point.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
I
I
hear
remember
about
I
them all the
saw
time.
Joe H. Henry there the first time ever years ago, and
Yeah,
now I see him all over the place. And I heard like one of his original songs. He's like, "Oh, I never played this before," and now he's everywhere. It's super awesome. People get
yeah.
all kinds of connections from there.
Oh yeah, no, I love seeing the growth. So being there in the ground floor is always
Hmm.
nice. Much like getting to know you yourself, it's nice to see somebody developing in the early stages of the releases
Yeah.
there too. So I definitely want to keep in touch. It sounds like you have a few things up your sleeve for the future.
Coming.
So we'll definitely keep an ear out, but reach out when you have more for us.
Yeah, definitely.
And I recommend anyone out there that's been listening along follow you, but also hit subscribe for East Coast DNA if you're not already a subscriber. I definitely have more views than subscribers, so hitting that count up would help. And really, it doesn't generate much for me in the way of revenue or anything. It's more so getting exposure for artists like Hannah here.
Hmm.
So I definitely appreciate the help and the exposure and kind of pay it forward with the artists that I work with. So and anybody out there that's watching now, just click the button. It only takes 2 seconds. And for yourself, Hannah, what would you like to play off with today to give people a sample from your EP?
Why don't we go with Forget You, the one that I talked about? It's been through years. I wanted to put it on the first one, and now it's definitely a fan favorite and one of my favorites. So I think that's a really good one for everybody to hear.
Sounds like a perfect fit. I'm gonna have to make sure that I keep up to date with you because I'm excited to see what you have coming in the future. And for anybody out there that's watching this, that's doing any of those shows that I'm talking about, keep Hannah on your Rolodex for
Yeah.
some of those songwriters circles because I think she has a few stories that she can share as she's playing those songs too. So I'm excited to see some opportunities arise in the future for that too.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again. And like
Thank
I said,
you.
we'll talk soon. I'll keep an eye out for some live performances.
Perfect.
Bye, everyone.
Sitting in an empty parking lot, losing our minds. Just break my heart, don't waste any more time. Sitting face to face, but you don't look the same right